Hello YouTube, my name is Matthew, and today I wanted to talk about an article I read on people.com by Karen Mizoguchi titled Kanye West Says I Am Running for President as Elon Musk Says You Have My Full Support. So, I almost feel like an idiot for covering this because I hope that to make my channel a place to have tough conversations and have conversations at a high level. Not to sound arrogant or anything, but that would be the goal of my channel. And a Kanye West presidential campaign is definitely not high on that list. You don't go to philosophy seminars, you don't hear them say, well, let's see, today we're going to talk about Plato's Symposium, then we're going to talk about Kant's categorical imperative, and then finally we're going to discuss the metaphysical implications of a Kanye West presidential campaign. But I have a few thoughts, so I just wanted to get them out there. So Kanye West tweeted he is running for president in 2020. We must now realize the promise of America by trusting God, unifying our vision, and building our future. I am running for president of the United States, the rapper 43 tweeted on Saturday. His wife retweeted it, and then Elon Musk responded, "You have my full support." Musk's support comes after the two men were pictured together recently. When you go to your boy's home and you're both wearing orange, West tweeted on July 1st. Now, in November of 2019, West had said he would run for president in 2024. And he spoke about that at a Fast Company's Innovation Festival. To roaring laughter. At the time, the father of four said that if he were elected president, he would create so many jobs, adding, "I'm not going to run, I'm going to walk." When you see headlines saying Kanye's crazy, 1 in 3 African Americans are in jail, and all the celebrities are in jail also because they can't say nothing. They got no opinion. They're so scared. And then in 2015, he announced his 2020 campaign after receiving the Video Vanguard Award from Taylor Swift. And then, of course, it goes into how Donald Trump and Kanye West are friends, because no news piece is fit without bringing up the Donald. West and Trump famously got together at the White House in October 2018 to ostensibly talk tax cuts, prison reform, mental health, and racism. Months before, in a series of tweets in April 2018, West called the former Celebrity Apprentice host "my brother," writing, "You don't have to agree with Trump, but the mob can't make me not love him. We are both dragon energy. He is my brother. I love everyone. I don't agree with everything anyone does. That's what makes us individuals, and we have the right to independent thought." Then West reiterated his loyalty in another tweet storm in January 2019. "One of my favorite of many things about what the Trump hat represents to me is that people can't tell me what to do because I'm black," he says. "We will change the world. God is on my side. I am a Christian. I am a taxpayer. I am myself. God is with us." Okay. So it's pretty, I saw an interview with the novelist and political satirist Christopher Buckley, son of William F. Buckley. And he said something to the effect of, that satirists have to keep ahead of actual politics, but that's incredibly difficult. And I'm just reminded of that because if Kanye West is running for president, then I would really feel as if that office had been debased. Now, in some ways, I felt like it had been debased by Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is a demagogue by any definition of that word. He was riding the wave of popular resentment and frustration and anger, which is why, I said this on the podcast, but on the podcast I co-host, Beyond Talking Points, I can understand why people would vote for Trump, and I can sympathize with it. But I was not myself a Trump supporter. I am not a Trump supporter. He's a fool, and I could never vote for him. And I could never also vote for Kanye West. Kanye West has no political background. Donald Trump didn't either. In some ways, you could say that a Donald Trump presidential campaign and a Kanye West presidential campaign are very similar, because they're both really, they're not political animals. They have they're both coming out of nowhere, and they both think that, well, I'm going to go in and I'm going to fix the system and I'm going to drain the swamp and people are going to love it. And it's very disturbing to me. And it's even more disturbing is I don't understand why Elon Musk would support a Kanye West presidential campaign. Elon Musk is an intelligent man. I have some disagreements with Mr. Musk, but he's not an idiot by any stretch of the imagination. And I don't know. I guess it's just because they're friends. That just seems like, Elon, you're really dropping the ball there. Like, really? I have friends, but I'm not going to necessarily support them just because if my friends were to run for president, I'm not necessarily going to support them just because they're my friends. Maybe I'm being a bit high-minded about that. I don't mean to be. I just don't quite understand, again, unless it's just, well, I'm going to support my friend. I don't quite understand why Elon Musk would support a Kanye West in his run for the presidency. Is it a cynical calculation? I really don't know. But it does seem as if our political institutions, our democratic institutions, are being stretched to their very limit. And I suppose one reason I am bringing this up is because most people didn't think Trump had a chance. And if you watched, CNN, MSNBC, if you listened to NPR, if you read the New York Times, if you listened to all the mainstream outlets, you would have assumed that Donald Trump's presidential campaign was a joke, which it was, but still, you would have assumed that he had no chance. And I can understand why people thought that, but he won. And now it's looking like he probably won't be a two-term president. But the fact that he won, the fact that he was successful in an endeavor which so many people scoffed at, is it gives me pause when I hear of a Kanye West presidential campaign. I don't think Kanye West would ever win the presidency, but I'm far less confident in that assertion since we've had Donald Trump than perhaps I would be if Donald Trump had never been elected president. And of course, if someone is fairly anti-democratic in their intuitions, they would say, well, this is just the way democracy is. In democracy, you inevitably end up with mob rule, demagogues get elected, and it's unworkable. That's what someone like Plato would say. But I'm very pro-democratic, small d, democratic. So I don't go along with that. But I can go along with the fact that people have had it with the system, and basically what we consider everything's on fire is one way of putting it. And when everything's on fire, that's when you get people who are like, I can fix that. I can put out the fire. Just elect me. And Kanye West is not going. I think he wouldn't do any better than Donald Trump would. In fact, he might be a far worse candidate than Donald Trump. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say, of course, but I almost think that he would be that somehow Donald Trump is a step above him. Now, that's not, at least in terms of the ability to run a country. Now, I could be wrong about that, and I don't like either of them, and I'm not happy that Donald Trump's president. I hope he's elected. I hope he gets kicked out in the fall, and I don't wish that Kanye West becomes president. I'm just kind of thinking out loud. Because at least Trump has some, you could say he has some business experience, which isn't necessarily a bad thing when you're aiming for a political career, whereas Kanye is focused solely in show business. But of course, Ronald Reagan had some roots in show business, and many people think he became a very good leader. So yeah, I just wanted to get this out there. I'm alarmed by it. I may be sounding the alarm prematurely, because as part of me still thinks that a Kanye West presidency is a joke. But again, it's just because the fact that everyone thought Donald Trump's presidential campaign was a joke and he won, that makes me say, well, maybe we got to take a look at this. But I just can't think of I can't think of a reason why I would ever support a Kanye West presidential campaign. I mean, he's egotistical. He just has he has a lot of the flaws that a stereotypical Hollywood person has. He's been a very successful rapper. The fact that he supports Donald Trump is alarming to me, and that makes me think, well, then his politics must be similar to Donald Trump's in many ways, and of course I don't like Donald Trump's politics for the most part. So, I wouldn't want. I would imagine a Kanye West presidency might be sort of a Donald Trump presidency part 2, and perhaps I guess I'll add with this. Perhaps we are in need of a new constitutional convention. Perhaps we need to rethink what kind of government we want to have. It's possible that perhaps we don't want a president as such, and we want something else. I talked about Unity 2020 in my last video, which I said was not a bad idea. And if it got traction, I would definitely support it. But yeah, it's we live in crazy times. What more can I say? It's that old Chinese curse. May you live in interesting times. So we definitely live in interesting times, and I hope that we can come out of it unscathed and a little wiser. So, thank you for listening. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And, stay safe during this pandemic. I said during the coronavirus the last time, but that I should have said during the pandemic. So, yeah, take care.